All right, this is day two. So I got some feedback on the last video. Eye level is important so that I'm not, talking down to you guys because that could be, kind of rude or mean or something. So whoever commented that, thank you. And another thing is the mic sounds good, which is good. I've never had a nice mic before, so I'm happy to hear that it actually is going through properly and that it sounds good. So, part of the reason why my camera was angled up was because I actually didn't want you guys to see my room because that means I would have to like clean it. I mean, my room's like usually clean, but I'm talking about like, folding this blanket. That's basically the extent of what I would have to do. But, actually it's probably just fine. I can fold a blanket. So I did that. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but this uh thing is broken the blind. So there's a crate of Celsiuses holding that up. So it's kind of a jank setup. That's what I don't like about it. It's also, just like white. Even the lights are white, and it's just not. Uh, it doesn't look like my room. Um, my room usually is. It has like colors and it looks nice, but this is a temporary living setup, so it's not very. I don't know. I was told it looks like a boy's room, which I was like, yeah, I guess it is a dude's room, but I don't know. It just sounds kind of like an insult. Uh, however, I do actually have these. These came with the room. They're butterfly bed sheets. It's no other ones, but maybe that makes my room look a little less like a boy room. Um, so that's part of the reason why I had my video angled upwards. So, what I wanted to talk about today was, kind of going over some of the feedback I got last time. Some of the feedback I gave myself is I didn't like the 16-minute video. I think these should be about 10 minutes. That sounds about right, or else I just, talk about some more relevant stuff. So we're 3 minutes in here. So, what I wanted to talk about is like YouTube scripts. So, a while ago, when I was making these programming tutorial videos or these like explanations, I would write a script first. Now I was like, yeah, like, if I have a good script, then I'm really in business because the script is what keeps people watching, right? So people aren't going to click away. They're going to continue watching it. And so you have to, build up tension and have like, rising action and have a good hook and then as soon as people get bored during a middle part you like so you're like doing all this like stuff and I was like, oh, okay, great, now I know what I need to do. I need to write the perfect script and then I'll be fine. And holy shit, that was like so hard. And it probably just requires a little bit of practice too. And then the video editing was like freaking crazy. um it's like one of those like rabbit holes you can go down where you start scratching the surface. You're like, oh yeah, okay, so I can just like trim out all the silent parts. And then you go a layer deeper, and then it's like, adding music and then transitions and then some B-roll so that people don't get bored and like all this stuff. And then before you know it, as a beginner on YouTube, it might take you like an entire week to roll out one video, and not an entire week. Like, you don't do anything for 5 days. Like, you might actually reshoot your video, I don't know how many times, work on your script. And also, when you're reading off of a script, you you don't really sound you don't sound super normal unless you're good at making yourself sound normal while reading a script like news anchors do. um Actually, I don't know how normal. I don't really watch the news. But anyway, some people do a good job at it. I did not. So I would find myself, like memorizing this line and then repeating it in front of the camera. And then like by the time you said it 20 times, you're like pissed off and then you sound off. People are like, "Why is this guy like angry explaining this?" So, you know, scripting, all that stuff, I think I'm gonna avoid that for now. Maybe later down the road it might become appropriate again, but for these, I mean, for speaking in front of a camera videos, these cannot be scripted, or else that kind of defeats the purpose. The point is to just, present yourself in front of the camera. So, but, later for tutorials and stuff, then, scripting might be appropriate if I want to say something precise. And another thing is that, like, with these videos, I can just bounce around and talk about different things. The problem with tutorial videos is that if I do a 20-minute, video where I demonstrate, scaffold ETH, for example, I can leave something out that was really important, but I just didn't think about it. I leave it out, and then now the video is like missing a critical component, which is bad, and I don't want it to do that. So maybe the strategy for those would be to have talking points and just to make sure that I hit these talking points, and then I can just instead of like clipping and editing the hell out of the video, just clip it like 4 times, where it's like, okay, for this 5 minute section I'm going to talk about this, for this next 5 minute section I'm going to talk about this. So that's probably going to be the strategy for those tutorial type of videos. I was also thinking about other kind of videos I can put on here, um, like some book reviews. I don't usually read a lot of books, but last year I actually read 12 books over the year, which is like a book a month. And I was like, damn, all right, like I made a habit out of it, and then it happened. So that was cool. So I could talk about those books. Um, the only problem is that like that's not super relevant to what I want this channel to be about. But actually, I'll take that back, because if this channel is about building a personal brand, or like, just putting out there, like what I like to talk about, then I guess that would make sense, right? Because I would have read those books if I didn't find them interesting. So, maybe I might do like a book review series. That would just be like more for fun, I guess. More importantly, would be to make some probably some videos that are a little more generalized. One thing that I noticed about I got 2 minutes left. One thing I noticed about the day one challenge talking to a camera is that because it's so generalized and broad, more people clicked on it. Like it got like 50 views in one day versus when I'm, showing off my like sub streams, which is like a niche within a niche within a niche, right? It's like programming, programming in Web3, data indexing, and then you have substreams. It's like, I don't know, super small. So, of course, that would get like 3 views, right? With the average watch time of like 5 seconds. So that's not surprising. But, I want this to be a little more generalized too. So instead of making a video on, substreams, I could make a video on how to really get into Solidity development, or, developing in the blockchain space. And I can show you guys how I got in the blockchain space, and what steps you can take, and what, free course I went through, which I think is absolutely amazing. I will shill the hell out of it. It's really good. It's Speedrun Ethereum, and it just, it's the opposite of a tutorial. It's You're not in tutorial hell. This is how you get out. So, right, you're in tutorial hell. You know a bunch of stuff. You don't know how to apply it. Speedrun Ethereum is a challenge that takes what you know and forces you to apply it, because it gives you a guided structure. And that's what's so good about it. So, 10 minutes. Guys, thanks for watching. Peace.